Hello, City Skylines fans. I'm SocksWayUp, and welcome back to another episode of Lake Sockside. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the building themes mod that's been around for a long time. I'm going to show you when and how I use it in today's episode. Sometimes we want to place down every single building like we did in the downtown area. Other times we want to let the game naturally grow. A residential area, you can see here, it's not very uniformed. I'm going to show you what we can do to improve that, but before that, here's a word from our sponsor. Well, I guess we'll jump right into it. Let's click on the policies button to begin with. Yep, right there. And then there's a new option here called themes. And you can see here, you can enable the theme management for the entire city. So you could just have a theme that you want for the entire city. You don't have to do separate districts. I've never really used this. It would have been probably beneficial for Chillhorn back in the day, but not necessarily for what we're doing with Lake Sockside. We're currently looking at a theme that I'm using that are basically the big suburb residential assets. I do have some industry assets in there that it's in the theme, but I haven't really used them yet. But you can see it also shows the size of the building, so you know what size you need to have the zones for the buildings that you put into your theme. So that's kind of important when it gets into it. We'll go over that a little bit later. The yellow ones are ones that I don't have assets, or some assets are missing, so those won't work. I don't have the European assets installed right now. I do have all the international ones. They are the vanilla ones that come with the game. You can see I try not to use those when I'm making these detailed, custom, realistic videos and cities, but they're there for you to use. So let's create a new theme. We're gonna call it Bronx. I have some assets that are from the Bronx, and if we search for it up here, they'll show up. If we go to our display options and select all, there we go. So you can see we have a handful of residential buildings that we can add to this theme that we can then go into the game and start using them in districts or in the entire city. We're gonna do it in a new district that we're gonna create. Let's go ahead and do that right now. We'll close out on these. I have a prepared area for this that we're gonna fly on over to here. Just gotta get a road laid down and then we'll start zoning for this. Here we go. I think, yeah, I guess it really doesn't matter what road I use for this. There we go. All right, then let's get it to about right there. That should work. And now we can start zoning away. Actually, we need to create a district first. So let's go ahead and get the district paint tool going. Let's use the smaller brush. That should be fine for this. And we're just gonna do this small area. So I'm gonna highlight around this rectangle section that we've created in this city. Get that going, almost there. All right, Walnut Park. So Walnut Park is gonna be our district here. If we click on that, we have an option for themes. And then we're gonna go in here and see enable theme management for district. Let's click on that and then select our theme that we created. Now we can start zoning. So you're gonna see here, I'm gonna do 1x3s on this side. Well, small gaps in between them, but the buildings are 1 wide and 3 deep. And then there's also buildings that are 1 wide and 4 deep, which we're gonna do on this side. On the south side of the map, I guess, or the lower side of this view, the 1x3s or the 1x4s are gonna populate. Just the way the game works, which is completely fine. So we got that zone, so now it's time to let the game do its thing. Buildings are starting to get built. Let's just see what happens, and we'll take a look at the result here in a second. So now we can see the buildings are coming in as we designed, as we selected in the theme. And now we can go in and say, you know what? I don't really like the 1x4s that were coming in. So let's go in here and let's find those and let's remove them from the theme. Just that easy. And so now when we go back into the game, what I've noticed is you kind of have to help it out. We'll go ahead and bulldoze a few of these and then let them regrow or respawn in new buildings. It just seems to be the way the game functions. I haven't seen it demolish them myself. Maybe I'm just not patient enough. But also, I'm not a big fan of this roof. So let's go back into the theme one more time. Let's go back to Theme Manager, and we have previews. These previews are awesome, so we can go in here and see. There's the one that we don't like. Let's get rid of that one as well. And then the rest of them, I think we're okay with for now, so we'll leave those. We'll delete the ugly ones. I mean, the ones we didn't like. We'll let it regrow and see what we like. See if it's good. Another thing that we could do is the spawn rate. You can see if you read the tooltip, the higher the number, the more likely it is to spawn. So let's lower this one down to a 1. And then this one with the darker roof, I really like the way that looks. We're gonna bump that up to 20. Those buildings should spawn in more than the other ones. We're gonna take a look at that. We'll demolish this entire area, or at least some of these buildings. Let's go in here, get rid of these ones. And those ones that we favored should come in more often than the ones we didn't. We can get rid of that back there because we're not gonna have any 1x4s, we're just gonna have 1x3s. So we could fit more buildings into this area because they are 1x3, so you could have a lot of tight roads. Just some ideas. But yeah, as you see that dark roof building came out pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and spend some time building out a long-term solution or a long-term neighborhood for Lake Sockside and show you what I came up with. Here it is, here's the final product. It came out beautiful. I love the way this new neighborhood turned out. It's actually a very, very large neighborhood for what we've been doing recently in Lake Sockside. I think it turned out brilliant. One of the main reasons why I like this and why I wanted to feature this in this episode, I like to plop down buildings, but I really don't like to plop down buildings that often. I like it with the skyscrapers or the downtown areas or my commercial areas. I'm not a big fan of it with the residential areas, so I found this as a nice solution of I can get the buildings that I want. Some of them we might not want. We can, go into the 1s and 2s and say, I don't really like that building there. Or you put a 2x4, I actually want a 3x4 house in this area. And it makes it a lot quicker. This entire neighborhood with detailing with the paths, it took me an hour to do this entire section. And I was taking my time letting the game spawn in the buildings and they were leveling up as we were going. A lot quicker than it would have been if I would have plopped down and hand-picked each building myself. Just gives you some options and different ways to play the game. I think it turned out beautiful. Let's jump into a live play. Well, I've been really busy off camera. I've been playing a lot of City Skylines since I've gotten back into town this week. And this is the area that I've really been focusing on. It's kind of a mixed area with some industry. Let's fix the lighting so it's easier. That's a lot better. Like I was saying, it's a mixed area. It has a lot of commercial, it has some offices, it has some high density residential as well, as we'll see here in a little bit. Some hotels and a lot of services. Forever 31, Old Navy, Supercuts. It was, oh my goodness. Yep, that's a lot better. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, this area was fun to make. I just sitting down, relaxing, enjoying City Skylines wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to show the step-by-step build process of. Thought it'd be a lot easier to just kind of show a recap of it. Let me know what you think about this new format and trying to make these videos shorter. Back to the topic at hand today. This neighborhood turned out great. We have some education in there. We have some paths for people to get around. One thing I do have to add here next, I don't know about these houses right there. Hey, there's one upgrading. We need to add some bus paths or bus stops, and that'll be coming next. I'll do that off camera as well, but we got the education in there, got some parks. It's a complete neighborhood. It's done, and it took me about an hour using the build theme mod. I love it. It turned out great. Look at Lake Sockside. The change that we made to this area that we're looking at right now, I love it. You can see our ore industry tucked back into the mountain. It looks way more natural. The city's, it's getting there. It's almost complete. We got a ways to go still, but it's starting to feel like we're actually making progress. Man, we started this a while ago, but it's moving along great. Again, let me know what you think about the new format. I hope you're enjoying it. Little quicker videos for you to enjoy. I'm SocksWayUp, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Lake Sockside.